so we are doing our Chapter 13 video teach back from our textbook, Educational Psychology by O'Donnell, Reeve, and Smith. This is about reflection for action, and my name is David Levert, and the Chapter 13 is focused on issues in diversity. One of the first things we want to look at is that when we look at the population of America in terms of the student base, back in 1970, we were looking at an 83% Caucasian population, 11% African American, 5% Hispanic, and 1% Asian. Today, we're looking at approximately 61% Caucasian, 14% African American, 18% Hispanic, and 5% Asian American. Going forward in 2050, we're looking at approximately 50% are Caucasian students. So the diversity is definitely increasing, and as teachers, we're going to need to continue to prepare our lesson plans and our classroom discussions to include the diversity that's within our American society. A couple of things that were interesting is in Table 13.1 on page 454, the states that have the highest amount of minorities, District of Columbia with 95%, we have New Mexico with 66%, we have South Carolina with 45%, Louisiana with 51%. Illinois is approximately 41, I believe. I'm going to look here real quick. Yeah, 41% for Illinois. Something interesting about Illinois' population, too, is 15% of the children are living in poverty. Those students can live in small farming communities. They can live in inner cities. They can be within our community where we're teaching. And so why that's important is that when we are teaching students and we're telling them to stay focused and to try hard and to be participating in class, if they're hungry because they didn't eat last night and they haven't eaten breakfast this morning, they're going to have a very hard time being able to remain engaged in our classroom discussion while their priority in their mind really is how hungry they are. So we need to make sure that we're aware and cognizant of where all of our students in our classrooms are coming from, and that relates to the issues of diversity. We need to make sure and make clear that our methods of teaching are taking into account being aware of each student's background and each student's place where they are as they're working through their lives as students in our class. And with our Chapter 13 here, some of the things that come out in terms of where students come from. So like an all-white family of average income in 2008 was $65,000. But someone who was coming from like a Hispanic family, the average income was $40,466. Black family, 39,000 says 879. So quite a bit of difference in terms of the income level of the families from a diverse background. One thing we want to keep in mind as we're trying to reach the students that might be ELL students or just simply students from different cultural backgrounds, be it minority or be it that they are immigrants but they may already speak English or broken English, is that when we want to reach them, first of all, they, as it says on page 457, and all of my references are back to this educational psychology textbook, page 457, the verbal communication is huge in terms of being able to make sure that students are using technology if needed, which is talked about later in this chapter, to understand and be aware of content vocabulary. So if they're a Spanish-speaking or partial Spanish-speaking student, that they might have an iPad with a Spanish translator, so they can go from their primary language or their first language to our ELL secondary English language, taking an understanding of a vocabulary and translating it into English with that technology. We want to make sure that we're properly working with these students verbally. We also want to maintain very good eye contact, and that really stood out to me when I read this chapter because one of the teachers that I know is fantastic at giving eye contact. She allows the student to articulate and verbalize what it is they're trying to say. She gives them time to complete their thought. She encourages them to finish what it is that they're trying to make sure that they share and bring across in terms of the way they're bringing about their understanding of a question, and then she responds. And she does this all while maintaining eye contact, and it's really effective. It really feels like the student, really allows the student to feel like they are being valued. Another thing that we would want to do with the students is help them with their time management as well as helping them understand how to, or helping them integrate socially into the classroom. So maintaining our relationship with all the students and continuing to build bridges for everyone, and helping students feel like they are a welcome part of the class that might be coming from a very different background. A couple things that might happen for ELLs in terms of coming from different background. Some of the students might be coming from areas that don't have the type of school system that we have, where they have not had school every day. If it rained outside, maybe school was canceled because transportation wasn't easy for them to get to where they would have gone to school. Or some students may have come from camps that were for refugees, and the students may not have actually had educational training for the last year or two. So there's a lot of diverse experience base that might be coming to us with students that are immigrating to America, and keeping that in mind when we teach our classes, that we are relating to the students where they're coming from. One thing that I just wanted to mention that this chapter talks about on page 463, advantages of multicultural education. One of the things that is fantastic is that when we begin to know each other's culture and each other's experiences and backgrounds, man, can we learn so much from each other. So one of the exciting things about having a diverse classroom is being able to integrate the teaching of the content knowledge to the background of the students, so that they themselves feel like they're, first of all, being related to, but secondly, that we are then also, as a class, learning from them as well. Them being someone who is coming from a totally different background than a American upbringing in, let's say, the suburbs or a city of Chicago. So it is a very good opportunity for us all to learn and grow. And I think one of the things that is maybe the most important is that as a teacher, that we are always fostering that bridge of learning back and forth. So this was, again, Issues in Diversity, as it is spoken about in Educational Psychology, 3rd edition by O'Donnell, Reeve, and Smith. And again, I'm David Levert, and thank you.